Have you ever noticed how a single phrase can carry more secrets than it seems? In the heat of a conversation, words that sound innocent might actually be the first hint of something bigger brewing. Here's a truth that many don't dare to admit. No one wakes up one day and decides to cheat out of the blue. There's always a story, a sequence of signs that, if ignored, can turn trust into doubt. Have you ever wondered what phrases like, "I need more space," or "so-and-so just understands me so well," really mean? Maybe you've heard something like this before and didn't realize what was hiding between the lines. The reality is, women have a unique way of communicating, full of subtlety and nuance. Often, the true meaning lies beneath the surface. And here's the key that few understand. Decoding what these words truly signify can completely change how you approach a relationship. Let's be honest, who hasn't wished for a sharp sixth sense to decipher what's being said, even indirectly? Today, you'll uncover the hidden truths behind these phrases and how they can be early signs of a shift in your relationship. Get ready to dive into the psychological and mysterious aspects of female behavior, where every word has a purpose and every silence carries a message. The question is, are you ready to truly understand what's happening around you? Words are not always what they seem. In daily life, especially in relationships, a simple phrase can carry an entire universe of hidden intentions. Imagine someone saying, "I've been so busy lately." At first glance, it sounds innocent, but sometimes it can subtly signal emotional distance. With respect and maturity, it's possible to read between the lines without falling into the trap of premature conclusions. The key lies in consistency. Patterns speak louder than isolated moments. Human behavior is a dance between the obvious and the concealed. When a woman starts investing more time in activities that once seemed irrelevant, it may be a way of creating space or diverting attention. It's like a puzzle where the pieces subtly begin to shift. Interpreting these changes with purpose requires self-control. It's not about distrust, but strategic observation. The body, in contrast, rarely lies. Small details, like avoiding eye contact or slightly pulling away during a conversation, can signal emotional disconnection. Of course, such actions don't always indicate something serious. Sometimes, they're just moments of introspection. Respecting boundaries while keeping a mindful eye on patterns preserves both connection and mutual respect. Listening is an art that goes beyond spoken words. In everyday conversations, phrases like, "I need more time for myself," or "I've been thinking about changes," carry layers of meaning that aren't always obvious. These words can open doors to deeper understandings about the dynamics of a relationship. The key is balancing patience with curiosity, allowing the other person to express themselves without pressure. Sometimes what isn't said speaks louder than what is. Small changes in behavior or routine may seem insignificant, but are often clues to something larger. Recognizing these without judgment is an act of wisdom and respect. Self-control is crucial here, avoiding impulsive reactions and fostering genuine conversations. This way, the connection is strengthened even in moments of uncertainty. The truth is, mystery is part of human nature. Not everything needs to be uncovered immediately. Observing without pressuring is a valuable skill, allowing time to reveal what's hidden. Every behavior carries a purpose, even if disguised. And as these nuances unfold, a new world of meanings begins to emerge, leading to deeper questions about communication and relationships. Communication is a path filled with subtle nuances, and red flags often hide in seemingly innocent statements. For instance, when someone says, "So-and-so understands me so well," it might be more than just a compliment. That phrase could hint at an emotional comparison or connection being forged outside the primary relationship. Recognizing these subtleties requires respect and maturity to observe without immediately creating unnecessary conflict. Words carry weight, and some statements can signal emotional disconnection. Frequent mentions of how another person is so understanding may indicate a search for something perceived as missing in the current relationship. It's not about paranoia, but noticing patterns. These details highlight the importance of maintaining open dialogue aimed at understanding, rather than merely reacting. Sometimes the signs are in subtle shifts in tone or the frequency of conversations. If discussions about daily life once flowed with enthusiasm but start to dwindle, it might signal that something has changed. Phrases like, "I told so-and-so this, and they agreed with me," can point to an emotional exchange gaining strength elsewhere. The key is to avoid impulsive reactions and instead use self-control to seek clarity calmly. Veiled comparisons can also emerge disguised as innocent remarks. When a woman emphasizes someone else's empathy or understanding, it might be an unconscious attempt to fill an emotional gap. Focusing on strengthening communication within the relationship is crucial to creating a space where such needs can be addressed in a healthy, authentic way. It becomes clear that relationships require consistent communication. If compliments and recognition are frequently directed toward third parties, it's time to look inward and assess what might be out of balance. Phrases may be just words, but the context in which they are said often holds more truth than what appears on the surface. Finally, it's essential to treat these signals as invitations to reflection, not as absolute certainties. The mystery of communication lies in its ability to both connect and confuse. Learning to navigate these waters with respect and purpose strengthens bonds. And as you begin to understand these patterns, it opens the door to questioning other dynamics, such as the excuses and justifications that shape behavior. Excuses are often like smokescreens, concealing true feelings or intentions. When someone says, "I need more space," it's not always about needing personal time. In some cases, it may signal an attempt to create emotional distance or even open the door to external reflections. The key here is to respect such statements without applying pressure, maintaining self-control while paying close attention to the surrounding context. Excuses like, "I'm working late" or "I've got a lot to handle" can also carry hidden meanings. These could be subtle ways of creating distance without direct confrontation. The goal isn't to immediately distrust, but to reflect on the purpose behind these statements. If they become frequent and inconsistent with usual behavior, it might be time to address the issue with care and maturity. Statements like, "I'm feeling overwhelmed right now," often reflect something deeper. It might not just be about work or responsibilities, but a desire for freedom or avoidance of specific situations. The challenge lies in interpreting these messages without rushing to judgment, respecting the other person's boundaries. Sometimes, small changes in behavior can reveal significant truths. Excuses can also act as emotional shields. When someone repeatedly avoids commitments with recurring justifications, they might be signaling discomfort or attempting to sidestep uncomfortable discussions. Phrases like "not now, maybe later" are subtle, but can point to a reluctance to engage. Consistency is key. Patterns often speak louder than the words themselves. On the other hand, some excuses may be genuine, yet still carry important implications. The request for space, for example, could be legitimate, but may also come with gradual emotional withdrawal. The ability to listen and observe without jumping to conclusions is what separates impulsive reactions from respectful and well-founded responses. Ultimately, excuses are rarely just empty words. They have a purpose, whether to protect, conceal, or divert attention. The more we learn to recognize them, the better equipped we are to identify the patterns they create. And it's at this point that we can also begin to uncover emotional shifts, like requests for a break or sudden declarations such as, "You deserve someone better." Emotional shifts rarely happen all at once. They are built through small gestures, phrases, and behaviors that, when put together, tell a deeper story. A classic example is hearing something like, "Maybe we should take a break." This phrase may reflect an inner turmoil, where the person is trying to reorganize their feelings or create emotional distance. Respecting this space with maturity, while not ignoring the signs, is a delicate yet essential task. Statements like, "You deserve someone better" may sound altruistic, but they often carry a mixture of guilt and an attempt to shift responsibility for potential future decisions. It's a way to soften the impact of a decision that may already be in the works. Self-control is crucial in these moments to avoid defensive responses and create a safe space for dialogue. Emotional shifts can also be perceived in actions that accompany words. For example, a decrease in gestures of affection or changes in how time together is spent. Small withdrawals may seem insignificant, but when viewed through the lens of consistency, they can form a clear pattern. In these moments, it's important to show respect for boundaries and seek understanding rather than just reacting. Beyond words, the emotional tone of interactions can drastically change. Something as simple as the way messages are replied to or the intonation during conversations can signal disconnection. "I'm fine" can sound empty, almost automatic, if the feelings behind it are different. Being able to interpret these nuances requires sensitivity and active listening, keeping the focus on strengthening the relationship. Another sign of emotional shifts is in priorities. When someone starts to dedicate more attention to activities or people that were previously less relevant, it could signal emotional displacement. This isn't about control, but observing with maturity and understanding if there is something unspoken influencing this new dynamic. However, the mystery of human emotions is never fully decoded. Often these changes are attempts to deal with conflicting feelings or even to rediscover one's identity within the relationship. This is the time to deepen understanding and prepare for the next challenge. How these emotions will influence future decisions and behaviors. Conclusion. Did you notice how small details can completely transform the way you understand a relationship? From seemingly simple phrases to subtle shifts in behavior, everything carries meaning and deserves your attention. Now comes the crucial question: what will you do with this knowledge? Will you ignore these signs, or will you use them to strengthen your connections and minimize unnecessary pain? Imagine the impact of becoming someone more attentive and emotionally mature, capable of interpreting words and actions with precision. How would that change your life and your relationships? This is your chance to view everything through a new lens and take control of your emotional decisions. So, what will be your first step in applying these insights to your daily life? If this content resonated with you and opened your eyes to something new, don't miss the opportunity to continue this journey of learning. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay informed on topics that will transform the way you think and act. After all, this is just the beginning of a journey that could change everything. Are you ready?